Sammy. Sammy, wake up. Sammy. Sammy, wake up. Wake up. No. Samuel. None of that. You wake up right now. No. No. Please, Sammy, no. 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 No, you can't. You can't do this to me. Sammy, please. No. 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 All this death. Tinker, what are we going to do? Do you think anyone survived in the village? Maybe at the castle? That's a good boy. That's my boy. Look what I've got for you. You'll love this. Here, heal.
The people! Help me, please!
Holber? What happened? Why are you shouting here? You'll bring those heathens.
I have to get out of here and find the others and warn them.
How did you survive the attack?
I hid at the top of the hill and stayed there until it got dark and the screaming stopped. The whole of Skeleton was in flames.
I know. I saw it too.
I wanted to go to Talmberg to warn them, but when I was climbing down in the dark, I lost my footing and went rolling down like a sack of charcoal. I'm black and blue all over.
Did you see any other survivors?
I saw a few people in the distance, but I didn't want to risk shouting to them. There were still a lot of enemy soldiers around. You might run into some of our neighbors.
You're injured. Can I do anything to help?
Something's wrong with my leg. I twisted it when I fell, and I managed to limp here to this path. But now I'm all done in.
Let me have a look at that leg. Maybe I can manage to set it.
Oh, all right. But please, be careful.
It's pretty swollen. I can bandage it up. That's about all. I don't know what else can be done. But first, I have to find some bandages.
I'd appreciate it.
About those bandages.
Will you bring some to me? I don't have the strength to move.
I'll go. Hold on. Tinker, no. Come here.
Fuck off! Go on, go on, go on, go! For fuck's sake! I'm rushing to find this fucking place.
Henry? Right, you horrible sons. I've had just about enough of you. Hey, go fuckers!
That's, I don't know what to say.
You don't have to say anything. You've been through it yourself. I know you understand.
There's something else I'd like to ask. Remember how we were sword fighting together? The next morning, Ma scolded me on account of that scratch on my hand.
Oh, dear. Sorry about that.
That's all water under the bridge now. I never told her it was you who did it. I just wish you could have covered my back too. She was angry that I was at sword training instead of working in the forge, and she said you told her. Your pa and Stibor were really stealing from the royal mines? Jesus. I don't think even Fritz and Matthew would take that kind of chance. And there's not much that pair won't do for an easy groschen.
Yeah. In a way, I can understand that Pa did it for us, but it was really irresponsible. You won't tell anyone, will you?
I won't, I promise. So what happened to the silver?
Pa handed it over, as always, to that slimy fellow, and he took it away. What happened to it then, I don't know.
Your pa really wanted to marry you off to Master Tobias?
Yes. Can you believe it?
And have you spoken to Master Fayfar since the raid?
I haven't. Either he's lost interest, or he's forgotten about me. Not that I'm complaining. Uncle Peshek would be happy to marry me off too, especially if there was something in it for him. I'm glad that's in the past.
Aye, I don't blame you. Bianca told me something about your little expedition to the woods. You really ran into a wolf. I thought Bianca must have been imagining things.
Not exactly. It was actually a wild dog, but Paul used to say those are even worse than wolves.
It's a good thing you were there with Bianca. Bianca told me something about your little expedition to the woods. She was flaunting that ring all day. I was worried for a while that she had some other suitor who gave it to her.
No, no. Unless you can count a magpie.
Did you go back to Skalitz again? To bury your pa and your brothers?
Yes. Along with some more of our neighbors. We had an escort from the retired garrison. With Sir Hanish's kind permission.
Where are they buried?
Sammy's buried near the mines.
Hey, lad!
He didn't like the mines.
Don't you want a little wager
But his
on
grave
the
was on the
rat
hill,
Tawny?
where I used to meet him for lunch. He loved it there. I know it's not consecrated ground. But what could I do?
God will understand. I buried Ma and Pa under the linden tree by our house. It's what they would have wanted.
Yes. Father and Stebo are buried in the churchyard in Rovna.
Once things settle, we'll be able to go back and pay our respects. And get the priest to bless their graves. I have no more questions. Thank you for telling me about everything, Teresa. I know it isn't easy to talk about.
It helped to talk to someone who knows what it's like. Thank you. I'm glad you came out of it in one piece.
Yeah, so am I. And I'm glad you did too.
By the way, Henry, I have something for you. The soldiers gave it to me when we brought you from Skalitz. I meant to give it to you earlier, but, you know, it belonged to one of the Skalitz garrison. They wanted me to have it for being brave, but I hope I'll never have use for such a thing.
Oh? How come? What is it?
It's a shield with the Skalitz crest. I'd like you to have it, to protect you, and as a keepsake from home.
Sure. Thanks, Teresa. Thanks for everything.
Hey, lad! Good day.
I'm interested in betting on the tourney.
Of course you are.
What can I bet on?
Let's keep it simple. You can bet on yourself to win the whole tournament. If you reckon you're up to it. Not everyone's got what it takes. If you lose, you forfeit your wager. But if you win, you'll get double back from me, on top of the prize money from Sir Hanush. That's a fair wager, ain't it? What do you say?
All right, why the hell not? I'll try my luck.
I'm glad to hear it. A nice little wager. Well, break a leg. Literally, I hope. Goodbye.
God's blessings.
I'd like to order something here.
And what is it you'd like?
Get myself fixed up a bit. Have a bath and get my clothes washed.
But of course, money first, though.
Fine. Here it is.
I'm sure you'll be extremely satisfied. Take care.
Good boy. That's my boy. Look what I've got for you. You'll love this.
I'm glad you're here, Henry.
What's happening, sir?
Uncle Sahanush sent for me. No doubt he wants to give me another ear bashing about the error of my ways. And he said to bring you too.
Oh, Sakra. That doesn't sound good.
Indeed. I wonder what he wants to lecture me about this time. And you, because you're going with me.
All right. We should get going then, shouldn't we, Sir Hans? The sooner we get it over and done with, the better.
I suppose so. Right away. I put some of my old clothes in a trunk for you. I don't want you making me look bad in front of Hanush. But I see it wasn't necessary. You look as smart as any courtier.
Thanks. I try my best.
So I see. But you can come and get those clothes later anyway. They're a little worn, but they're as fine as anything you'll get in the county.
Well, my ward and his, what shall we say, chaperone.
Uncle.
My lord?
I hope I haven't dragged you away from anything too important.
Not at all, Uncle. We were just...
Like boozing and whoring, for instance.
Uncle, I can
Perhaps you were busy, causing mayhem in the middle of the night and beating up my subjects.
No, it wasn't... Henry and I were just...
Henry's as big a fool as you are. But he's not my ward, thank Christ. What the hell do the pair of you think you're doing? There are people in this fiefdom who work from dawn to dusk to put food on their tables and on yours, may I remind you. And then they look at you, Hans, their lord and master, and see a drunken layabout. That fellow you beat up last night was a guard, a new guard on the town watch. And he couldn't report for duty this morning because of his injuries. I had the bailiff here complaining, and could I tell him what I really think about this whole sorry affair? Of course not. That would demean me. And you too. So I had to sit gaping like a stuffed owl and listen to his grievances. Maybe you think because you're the Lord here you can get away with anything. But you're sadly mistaken, you blockhead. A lord remains a lord only as long as he commands the loyalty of his subjects. And I'm sure I don't have to tell you the folk here are not exactly enchanted at the prospect of having you in charge. That was the last straw, Capon. One more of your escapades and I'll send you to your mother in Polnar. For all I care, she can dress you up like a wench and marry you off to some Hungarian.
Uncle, that arson Archibald tried to murder me. What was I to do?
Oh, don't exaggerate. Well, I'm hardly surprised after you molested his girl and humiliated him.
I was only...
Oh, don't whine, for heaven's
sorry.
sake. It's about time you started taking some responsibility. I have a job for you. Maybe that will keep you out of mischief. Sir Milota of Oleshna has turned up here. Do you know him?
Isn't he Sir Bernard's cousin?
He is. He came here with a remnant of his retinue to seek refuge. He's seriously wounded.
What happened to him, sir?
His fortress Oleshna was attacked by one Wulfrin of Camburg. Milota pursued him almost as far as Neuhof and engaged with him. Unfortunately, the skirmish didn't end well for Milota.
Wulflin of Camburg. That name is familiar.
Yeah, he's kin to the Oleshna lords, too. A cousin of Bernard's and Milota's. Their family affairs are a little complicated. None of my business, of course. I just wish they'd found somewhere else to thrash out their differences.
What do you want us to do, sir?
Go and see Bernard in the courtyard. He got a report that Wulflin pillaged some other farms around Neuhof, and he's putting a squad together to ride against him. Mind your step, though. It's a family affair, after all. Maybe more to it than meets the eye. The important thing is to get that damn scavenger out of the domain. If possible, without bloodshed. I can't afford to lose any men over this business. Have I made myself clear?
Yes, sir.
Very well, Uncle.
Get to work, then.
Why? Bandits are easier to defeat, aren't they? Maybe, when you're face to face.
Good day, Henry.
with them. But those sneaky fuckers are always hiding somewhere in the woods like animals. With the nobles, you know where you are. They have rules. I never knew Bernard had kin. He didn't fall out of the sky, did he? Everyone's got kin.
Sir Hanish sent me, Captain. I'm to join your mission. And Sir Hans, too.
Then mount up, youngster, and we'll move out.
Sir Bernard's father has...
Can I ask... Thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
Lord Capon, when we get there, I'd like you to hold back.
You can forget about that, Bernard. I'm not going on an outing. Hanish sent me to handle this matter. and handle it I will.
Undoubtedly, Sir Hans. I just meant for your own safety.
I know what you meant, Captain. Forget it.
Yeah.
After plundering Richard's estate.
I heard the same. Only, well, I'm sure you've heard what they say about the Camber branch of my family.
That they're cursed. Now, Bernard, don't you think I'm a little old for the fairy tale?
Think what you like, but I heard it from my grandfather, and he never paid attention to old wives' tales.
I meant no offence, Captain. Well, tell me all about it then. After all, there's no smoke without fire. And I never heard about the Camberth man from a member of the family.
Very well. At home, we always spoke in whispers about our Camber relatives. When Wolfen's father, Wilhelm, came to visit, I'm almost ashamed to say it.
Yeah. You can rely on my discretion, Captain. Carry on.
Well, the servants were so afraid of him that they went and hid in the barn. Father had them whipped. Even then, they wouldn't go near Wilhelm. They were afraid he cursed them, and I couldn't blame them.
Why's that?
Wilhelm's face was so badly disfigured, folk would cross themselves when they saw him. I was afraid of him myself as a boy.
Was he wounded in war?
No, he was born that way. You see, his mother, Countess Barbara of Hogwitz, didn't want to marry Wilhelm's father, my grandfather's brother. She never wanted to bear his children. So, she fell pregnant. Yeah. They say she went to a witch to get rid of the child. She ended up having quintuplets. Can you imagine it? 5 babes born in one night?
Jesus Christ!
That's not all. 4 of them didn't live till dawn. Only the 5th survived, and he was disfigured. Wilhelm. They say the witch cheated her, and instead of getting rid of the child, she put the devil's seed inside her.
Good Lord, how dreadful!
Well, Wilhelm carried that with him his whole life. When his own wife was in childbed, he had 7 friars kneeling in her chamber day and night. It didn't stop the rumors, though. When his son, Wolfen, was born, he looked normal enough, but he turned out to be as wild as a stray tomcat.
It seems he hasn't grown out of it.
You're right about that. A few years ago, Wolfen went off to Poland, and Wilhelm got worse and worse.
Henry's come to see you.
Cursed everything and everyone in his past, started throwing crockery. Whoa! Go down!
Sweet Jesus. It sounds a lot more convincing coming from you than the story
Why does it serve me?
How are we supposed to
scout
deal
ahead?
with a monster like
Those bastards will pay for this.
They most certainly will. Let's go. We have to make camp. Hamlin, we'll take 2 men and come back here later. I won't have Vitus and Cyril left as crow meat.
Yes, Captain.
Yeah.
That's a good boy. That's my boy.
God be with you, Henry.
God be with you.
What do we do now?
First, we have to find out where those Horsons are holed up. According to the reports, they raided a few farms around here. So someone should go to those places and find out what they can. You should do it, Henry. My men would probably just startle them.
All right, Captain. I'll do that. Where are the farms?
One is uphill from Neuhof, right by the woods. One here above the woods by the crossroads, directly north from our camp.
Tell me, Captain, how come this Wolflin is attacking his own kin?
They say blood's thicker than water, but sometimes I wonder. Look at our king and Sigismund.
So what's the cause of your conflict with Wolflin?
Nothing in particular, just that he's a ruffian, a treacherous bastard, and a bandit. No wonder the whole Camber clan is cursed.
How do you mean cursed?
Like I said, Wolfin's grandfather married Countess Barbara of Hogwitz. She didn't want to bear his child and went to a witch to get rid of it. Only instead of getting rid of the unborn child, she ended up having 5.
What, all at the same time?
All in one night. But only one of them lived till morning. The youngest, Wilhelm. And his face was disfigured. They say the witch deceived the Countess, and it was Satan himself who impregnated her.
And you believe that story?
Depends how you look at it. Wilhelm wasn't a bad man while he was in his right mind, but he was terrifying to look at. I still get shivers down my spine when I think of him. As for Wolfen, word came that he died in Silesia. Then, one day, he appeared from nowhere. There are folk who say death has no power over him.
How are you related?
Miloda, Wolfen, and I have the same great-grandfather, Urban, Baron of Oleshna. Take care.
Good gracious, it's Henry, champion of the Rat-Eye Tourney.
See you later.